joining us now to discuss how the news of the death of Queen Elizabeth has been received in America is great friend of this show, president of the Centre of the American Experiment and author of Powerline blog, John Hinderaker. John, great to see you. How are you?
Doing very well, Rowan. Happy to be with you.
We've talked obviously a lot about, she was our queen. She wasn't your queen. I mean, I bet there's plenty of Americans who wish you did still have those links to the British monarchy. But anyway, how has the death been received in America?
You know, Rowan, I would say very much the same as it has been in Great Britain, more muted, obviously, as you say. Elizabeth was not our queen. But let me just give you one example. I'm currently in a small city in Texas, staying at a hotel here, and there are flags in front of the hotel. They are all at half-mast in recognition of the Queen's passing. I don't think there is another foreign leader that would cause a hotel in a place like this in Texas to drop the flags. You know, I think Queen Elizabeth maybe was the most universally respected person in the world, and I think that's how she's seen here in the U.S.
Rita.
There was a bit of conjecture, even I think on CNN, which surprised me, with Jake Tapper saying that President Biden should invite President Trump to the Queen's funeral. Just tell me about some of the politics in the US around the Queen's passing, and because Donald Trump and Donald Trump's mother in particular, when she was alive, were huge fans of the Queen.
Yeah, President Trump has said some very nice things about Queen Elizabeth, as, to be honest, pretty much everybody has. I'm a little skeptical about that kind of thing, Rita. I'll tell you why. The Democrats right now are engaged in a huge effort to make Donald Trump the centerpiece of our upcoming midterm elections. They think that if the elections are a referendum on Joe Biden, they're in deep trouble. What they want is for the elections to be a referendum on Donald Trump, because they think they can maybe win that one. So I think if CNN is talking about Donald Trump going to the funeral or whatever, I think this is just more of the, hey, let's talk about Trump so we don't have to talk about crime and the cost of living and everything else.
Daisy.
Speaking of CNN, there's been chat among a lot of American wokies about how King Charles should somehow organize reparations to the so-called colonies. There was chat on The View about it as well.
We'll show that.
Yes, yeah, we'll have a look.
In the 70 years of her being on the throne, many cultures and many faiths have flourished in these past 7 decades. But there is an ongoing, particularly in the wake of Black Lives Matter, particularly in the protests that erupted all over the world after what happened in Minnesota, here as well, in France, in other parts of these nations that had colonial servants, let's face it. People were in service to this empire. The wealth of this empire was derived on the back of the people of their empire.
On display in the palace.
Right, on display everywhere, and in the crown and everywhere. So what we're saying is that there is the generation of multicultural and diverse Britons who want this answered, who want to see their monarch finally talk about what it means and what, potentially the idea of reparations, definitely justice, right? Justice.
What do you make of that, John?
Oh, dear.
Well, there have been a handful of voices like that in the U.S. as well, denouncing the Queen and talking about colonialism and so on. Personally, my opinion is that the British Empire performed a tremendous worldwide service. It brought civilization to the four corners of the earth. It brought the rule of law to the four corners of the earth. It wasn't perfect. We know that. But on the whole, it was a great force for progress and human prosperity. And I hope the last thing I want to see the British do is and I think they've done some of this already, is to go on apologizing for the empire. They transitioned the empire into the Commonwealth, strictly voluntary set of relationships. And as I say, I think the British Empire did an enormous amount of good. And I hope they don't go down this path of endless apologies, because as we all know, you can never apologize enough.
Fantastic. That's great. John Hinderaker, always great to chat to you. Enjoy Texas there with the flags at half-mast, and we'll speak again soon.